What's up? What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, did y'all see it? Well, if you didn't see it, I'm going to show it to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. If you would, please share this video. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the heart button. Please do this for me. Hit that red pill. Hit that red pill. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't know, my name is Will Johnson. That's me right there. And when 2021 came, I went to DC. I was in DC, and I was there as a freelance reporter covering the events that were taking place in January of 2021. I was there. I was on the ground. Now, I didn't go inside the Capitol. I wasn't privileged enough to go into the people's house. Okay. The house that we all pay taxes on, that house. I wasn't privileged enough to be able to go inside, but I was there outside covering the event, what was taking place. And when I first got there, there was singing going on. Right when I was starting to walk up to the Capitol, there was some singing going on, and they were singing hymns. And I'm like, oh, look at this. This is, nothing exciting going on. Nothing really. It's just people there. You can hear people singing hymns. You can hear people praying. It's peaceful. This is exactly what I was observing when I was in DC. And the interesting thing is, when I went live in DC, I went live on YouTube at the time. And I didn't have time to set up all the other ones to go live to it at that time. But I went live on YouTube. And any other time when I've gone live right there at the Capitol. And so for those of you that have been to DC, they have the Capitol and then there's the Supreme Court. And any time that I've gone to DC, and I've gone live in the past, I could never get a reception. My reception was just terrible. It was pretty bad. It would connect and it would drop. But that one particular day, I'll never forget it. I had, I think, roughly about 3,600 people watching live on my YouTube channel. About 3,600 people. And it was full HD. I was sitting there looking at the image going through, because most of the time I can tell when it's getting pixelated, when it's getting, when the signal is getting buffered or what have you. I can tell just by looking at the screen, and people in the chat saying it's buffering, is freezing. Even like right now, I'm hardwired to the internet, and I'm hardwired. And every now and then they'll jack with it, and people I can see in the comments, and people go, it's freezing, right? And I'm hardwired. But I was on my phone connecting to satellites, and there's thousands of people there, right? But that one day, it was crystal clear image coming off of my phone. Crystal clear. And I was covering it. And like I said, when I first got there, it was peaceful. They were singing. And then all of a sudden, the Capitol Police started putting pepper spray into the crowd that was singing hymns, that was praying. They weren't doing anything crazy. None of that was happening until nothing was happening. They were singing hymns. People don't start going erratic when they're singing hymns. It doesn't happen. It's never happened. But when you put pepper spray in the air, and people are confined and people can't move anywhere, people start falling down. It just becomes completely chaotic. And while I was showing what was going on and unfolding, 3,600 people watching my live feed and not even missing a beat. And people were just like, my goodness, what's going on? Well, of course, the liberal media, just like any other time, they'll spin it saying that this is an attack on democracy. And what I realize is that the U.S. Constitution tells us that when you have a tyrannical government, we the people are supposed to do something. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that, because they don't. And see, that's what happened when they saw that people were adhering to the Constitution. They played a different role in it. They did something differently. When people were following along the Constitution, they didn't like it. And that's the reason why we saw what we saw, because they didn't like it. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. So because we saw what we saw take place, the Democrats love that day. It's like Groundhog Day for them. J6 is like their Easter. It's like their Christmas. They love that day. And anytime something happens in America, they bring that day up again. There's not a day that doesn't go by where they don't bring it up. They love that day. And now information about that day is coming out. And the Democrats don't want it to come out. Why not? They're all screaming right now about the Epstein files coming out. Oh, they want the Epstein files out. Epstein. We want those files out, right? None of them were saying that they wanted the Epstein files before President Trump went into office. And can we put this to rest? If President Trump was in the files, why do you think that Biden DOJ would not have released it? As soon as you ask that question of them, they all start scrambling around. Oh my goodness, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's water under the bridge. We're not talking about when Joe Biden was in office. We're talking about Trump, right? And then you have to remind them, if they let you talk, that when Joe Biden was in office, how many times did they indict President Trump? See, yesterday, President Trump, he did a press conference from the Oval Office, and President Trump mentioned that they indicted him 5 times. I was always looking at it under the impression that they indicted President Trump 4 times, but President Trump mentioned yesterday 5 times. 5 times. So you mean to tell me that they would indict President Trump 5 times? They would have done 20 times if they could. But they indict President Trump multiple times, and they wouldn't release the Epstein files if President Trump's name was in there. As much as MAGA Republicans were screaming about releasing the Epstein files, they wouldn't release it. They tried to remove President Trump from the ballot in multiple states so people could not have the option of voting for President Trump. And you mean to tell me that they wouldn't release his name if he was in the Epstein files? They tried to bankrupt President Trump. They tried to take all of his assets from him. They got him on 34 fraudulent charges, felony counts in New York. And you mean to tell me that after doing all of that, that they would not release President Trump's name, the Epstein files, Biden's DOJ, if he was in there? You mean to tell me that they raided President Trump's home not once, but twice, went through his wife's underwear drawer and his son's, tried to put his other sons in jail, and you mean to tell me that if President Trump's name was in the Epstein files, they wouldn't release it? Because if President Trump's name was in the Epstein files and President Trump had all these trips going to Epstein Island, I guarantee it that the American people, the MAGA Republicans, would have dropped Trump like it's hot. I'm telling you, because we don't go along with those games. We don't play along with it. You mean to tell me that they tried to permanently sleep President Trump multiple times? The left tried to permanently sleep him, but they wouldn't release the Epstein files with Biden's DOJ if Trump's name was in there. See, when you tell Democrats all of this information, when you think about it like that, oh yeah, they did all of this. They did everything under the sun to President Trump. They try to find every dirt. They made up the whole Russia collusion delusion. You mean to tell me they're making it up about the whole Russia collusion delusion? And if President Trump's name was actually in the Epstein files, Biden's DOJ wouldn't have released it? I mean, come on. It only takes a little brain cell activity to get this together. It only takes a little bit, just a little, just a little. But for some reason, Democrats cannot wrap their minds around it that, yeah, maybe Biden's DOJ would have released. Why didn't they release it then? Why not? And then some Democrats go, well, the reason why they wouldn't release it is because it would have implicated too many Democrats. So why are you asking for it now then, if that's the case? Why are you asking for it now? Because the only reason why they're asking for it, because they're in their minds thinking that they can get something on Trump. They've been trying to get Trump all this time. Get him on something, people. Just get him on something. Can we get President Trump on something that we can get President Trump to lose his support? There has to be something that we can find on President Trump to get him to lose his support. Something. The Epstein files. Because, see, they know that the MAGA Republicans been screaming for the Epstein files for years. And now that they think that they have something on President Trump when it comes to the Epstein files, they can get us to join in with them to deny our great president, Donald J. Trump. That's the reason why they're doing it. They don't care. You mean to tell me all of a sudden, they're concerned about children? Really? All of a sudden, they're concerned about children. All of a sudden, they're against the activity of Epstein. Really? They're against that activity. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Democrats didn't have any The Democrats were not against that activity when they were pushing it in books to school kids. But now all of a sudden they're against that activity. Y'all help me out here. Y'all help me out. Am I saying anything off mark here? Just think about what I'm saying. And see, because I'm saying what I'm saying, this is the reason why they're still doing the censorship. This is the reason why they're still censoring me. Because they don't want someone to listen to what Will Johnson is saying and be like, oh my goodness, this dude is making sense. Because he's making sense. See, President Trump. And I'm still hoping that President Trump will do something to these tech companies that have hurt the American people. They have hurt people's livelihoods. The Democrats have done so much, and it is the Democrats as a whole. They've done so much damage, not just to Will Johnson, but to so many people. And they don't have any issues with it. I mean, they're truly perfectly fine with all the activity, all the criminal activity that they've done. They're truly perfectly fine with all of it. For them, it's like a no-brainer. For them, it's like, oh, well, no, this is what we're supposed to do. This is the way it's supposed to be. And it's really disturbing to see that we have people that are supposed to be adults, and then they just blatantly lie to the entire world, and then they expect us not to acknowledge it, not to even see it, not to even know that it's going on. They expect us to go, well, you know, this is just the way things are. This is just the way things are. So the reason why I'm talking about this today is because yesterday, this young lady, she approached Nancy Pelosi in a conversation about what she did on January the 6th. There was a conversation, and Nancy Pelosi blew up. I mean, just exploded. And yes, I got it for you. Some of y'all have seen this already, but I'm going to share this with those of you that have not seen it. But before I show that to you, I want to just give you kind of like a short recap of what took place that day. Now, this is a short clip of CNN where they were showing and elevating Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, because, you know, CNN, they are a multimedia outlet for the communist news Democrats. I say communist news for the Democrat Party. They are a news organization. They're communists, they're socialists, they're anti-American. They demonstrated it. That's my opinion, because of their hatred for America and President Trump. They've demonstrated. Now listen to how they're like glorifying Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. And it's just, they act like this was justified. And this is during the time when they put this out, during the time, this whole production thing, when they were having their J6 committee. Y'all remember that? I never watched their J6 committee because it was a total sham. They were not even holding it in the official capacity, but nonetheless, they still put people in jail.
January 6th Select Committee, who played clips in their hearing Thursday. But in the roughly hour of additional footage obtained exclusively by CNN, we see lawmakers transforming Fort McNair, a military base 2 miles away, into a command center to communicate with Vice President Mike Pence and others, even considering reconvening the congressional proceedings at the military base.
We're being told it could take days to clear the Capitol, and that we should be moving everyone here to get the job done. We're at which has facilities for the House and the Senate to meet. We'd rather go to the Capitol and do it there, but it doesn't seem to be safe.
While Pence evacuated the Senate chamber, he stayed behind in the Capitol with his security detail.
I worry about you being in that Capitol room. Don't let anybody know where you are.
You know what? It was really interesting when I saw this clip again, thinking about it, that Nancy Pelosi was on the phone with Mike Pence. She was on the phone with Mike Pence. Why didn't she call President Trump? Is there a reason why she called Mike Pence instead? And I can't help it, but I'll never forget Mike Pence. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi exchanged coins. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's some insider thing. Maybe someone that's watching knows what that's all about. I mean, for all I know, it's speculation on what it might be or what it might not be. But they exchanged something. They were happy with each other. And Judas Pence, he's still not happy with President Trump. And that's the very reason why Judas Pence is not with President Trump today. Because see, if Judas Pence was actually doing the right thing, he would have been there right now with President Trump if he would have done the right thing. Or at least attempted to do the right thing. And that's all President Trump was saying. Do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
Don't let anybody know where you are.
I'd like to know a good goddamn reason why it's been denied.
Then Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer shouting at Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy after hearing a rumor Trump blocked the National Guard going to the Capitol.
Really? You hear this? They said it was a rumor that Trump blocked them. Why would Trump block the National Guard? He has no benefit in doing that. President Trump never did that. And you see, this is how CNN spinning it, because there was never any evidence. There was never any proof. Where did they get that from to make that statement in the first place? It was a rumor. Who made the rumor up? So when did CNN start reporting on rumors? Well, I guess I'll take that. I take that one back. Okay. Since they first started. Okay. I take that back. They've been reporting on rumors constantly.
Please move. The whole Capitol is rampage. There's a picture of someone sitting in this chair of the Senate. We've all been evacuated. There's been shots fired. We need a full National Guard component now.
You see that, Chuck Schumer? We need the full National Guard deployment now. And the only reason why they're on camera doing this, and this was Nancy Pelosi's daughter, I think she recorded some of this because she had direct access to a lot of this. And because they were putting on a show. We need to build the narrative. We need to make this look a certain way. See, they were hoping that all of this Fedsurrection, and that's the way Filter Dog put it in the chat. And Filter Dog, thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing that up, the Fedsurrection. And thank you so much for the gold pills. You get the balloons. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So the Fedsurrection, they had to build this up. They had to make it look like President Trump was trying to take over the government. He was already the president. He doesn't need to take over it. They know what they did. They know what they did. So they did this whole thing trying to make it look a certain way. And now information is coming out about what took place that day. And they don't want that information to come out all of a sudden. They want that information to stay shush, hush, 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 down the down low. Did you know that it's been reported, allegedly, that they deleted 1.5 terabytes of data associated with that day? Why would they delete 1.5 terabytes of data? Do you know how much data that is for those of you that are not computer geeks? See, the computer geeks is really, if you think about it, the whole scheme of things, if you're looking at videos and stuff like that and major large files, it's probably not that much, but it really is. Oh, actually, I'll take that back. Computer geeks know it's a lot of data, because we're not talking about just videos. They're probably talking about documentations, text messages, just communications, period. Especially if it's documents, PDF files, .txt files, .doc files, .docx files, just, different files, PNG files, really not that big. TIFF files can be somewhat large, but not that big, and then the video surveillance, probably, depending on the compression, is not that big, but 1.5 terabytes of data just gone. And then when they were asked about the question, the only reason why we knew about this 1.5 terabyte of data being deleted is because when they went after President Trump with Jack Smith, and he needs to be indicted. Can we get an indictment of Jack Smith? When Jack Smith went after President Trump over the J6 stuff, that opened it up for President Trump lawyers to ask for the evidence that they have against them so they can build their case. They say, okay, yeah, you can have all of this, but you can't have this information because it's been deleted. And they go, what do you mean it's been deleted? Well, recover it. There's a backup, right? Nope, no backup. There's no backup of it. It's just been gone. Kind of like Hillary Clinton's server and her Blackberries. It's just gone. So you need to move on. You're not getting it. It's been deleted. That's, they learned from Hillary Clinton. They learned from the great one.
Said it was not denied. I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD.
A group of lawmakers, including Republican leaders Representative Kevin McCarthy and Senator Mitch McConnell, calling Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller, urging a faster response.
Getting there in one hell of a hurry, you understand?
I got you loud and clear, leader.
And Pelosi and Schumer also confronting Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen in a heated phone call.
No. Please answer my question. Answer my question.
Senator, I'm going to do everything I can do.
Does that include asking the president to get these people who are followers of hers to leave the Capitol?
Finally,
oh my goodness.
Word coming from Pence that it was safe to return.
I'm literally standing with the chief of the U.S. Capitol Police. He just informed me from their best.
It's interesting. I remember when I was there that day, and because I'm looking at the timestamp there, it says 5:58. Because I was there reporting on it. And the police officers was there. They were telling people, look, y'all might want to disperse. You might want to leave. Even those of you that are here reporting, even media, they told everybody, media, everybody, that you need to go ahead and just leave, right? You need to leave before the National Guard comes in. And they were saying that President Trump is going to send in the National Guard because Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats refused to do their jobs from the get-go. It's also been reported, allegedly, and actually I don't think this is just even allegedly, but it's been reported that President Trump made a request to Mayor Bowser and Nancy Pelosi to make sure that they have their appropriate law enforcement on the streets for that day. But it's like all that got lost in the weeds. And then actually you've had Jim Jordan, you've had other Republicans say there's actual documentation of President Trump making that request. But all of the news media, for some reason, they don't know about that. Or they do know about it and they don't want anybody to know about it. They keep it on the hush hush, keep it on the down low. Why would they do that? Because the Democrats have a different agenda. MSDNC, CNN, ABC, CBS, the entire Alphabet Network soup group have all a different agenda. Now, Here it is just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, just yesterday, Nancy Pelosi's outside and a whole bunch of people are out there. And now that all this information about January 6th is starting to come to surface and starting to come to light, a reporter, a young lady working with Lindell TV, she was successful in asking Nancy Pelosi a question about why did she not have the National Guard here? Why did she refuse it? Why did she turn it down? Why did she turn it down? So there's been information that's come out for everybody that doesn't know this, that President Trump did make that request, Mayor Bowser, to have more police officers on the streets, and to Nancy Pelosi because she was the Speaker of the House. It is her responsibility to make sure that the security is up to par at the Capitol. It's her responsibility. It falls on her. Like right now, it falls on Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson reaches out to the Sergeant at Arms and tell the Sergeant at Arms, make it happen. Nancy Pelosi, she could reach out to the Sergeant at Arms and make it happen. But what did Nancy Pelosi do? They used this to their advantage. And then it looks like, from the reporting that we're seeing, that they've had some feds intermingled. Originally, they didn't want to admit to it, and they said, well, we don't want to talk about our procedures. Remember Christopher Wray? Christopher Wray saying, well, we're not going to talk about any procedures that we may or may not have done. They don't ever want to talk about Ray Epps. And come to find out, they had all these FBI informants on the ground that day. But for some reason, they want to leave that out of the report. You have Higgins, he was talking about all of the FBI buses that were there that day. He brought it up and they wanted to shut that down. Nope, don't want to talk about it. But now that the Republicans are back in the House, they need to bring this information up, especially now, and they get to ask Nancy Pelosi. She should be subpoenaed. Come answer. Why did you turn it down? And then Jim Jordan, the House committee, should bring up the document, say, here's the document right here. And I want to submit this. You know how they do it, Mr. Chairman? I want to submit this document here of President Trump making a request to Nancy Pelosi and even Mayor Bowser about having more security on the streets of D.C. during that day. Granted. Let's get it in there. Watch this. This was just yesterday. This is so good. Nancy Pelosi finally get asked by a reporter about why she denied the National Guard.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Someone got triggered. Why is she so angry? Republican talking points. Look at her. Shut up. Look at her. Shut up. Rah! Shut up. How dare you? How dare you? This has gone viral and then some. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody is talking about it. Nancy Pelosi caught in another lie. Nancy Pelosi finally got asked the question. See, this is not supposed to happen. See, when you have a government the way the Democrats want a government, kind of like North Korea, China, you can't ask these politicians tough questions like this because then it becomes a problem. Kind of like, what's her name, Katie out of California. She was actually the front runner to become the governor. And she said, I don't like these line of questioning. You're not going to ask me a follow-up question on the question? This is because Democrats are communists. It's the Communist Democrat Party of America. That's what they really are. But Nancy Pelosi was so angry. I mean, this is like this young lady here. She should get an award. I mean, really, this lady should get an award for being able to ask Nancy Pelosi the most beautiful question this century. Because, Nancy Pelosi been around a long time. So I'm just saying, here it is one more time. It's such a short clip.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January?
You see, so Nancy Pelosi actually wasn't about to go anywhere, but then as soon as she heard about the new January 6th committee, she had to, okay, it's time for me to go. If Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats were in the right, if they were just in doing what they're doing, then Nancy Pelosi should have all the answers. Nancy Pelosi should be able to lay it all out. This is what happened. This would happen. This would happen. This would happen. But getting asked questions like this, oh no. Because the truth is about to come out. Anyone would like to see her indicted for what she put this country through? I do. I mean, seriously, just imagine the lives that she ruined. She ruined American lives for a political agenda to get Trump. These Democrats, again, they're going to, look, if the pendulum ever swings and they get back in, I've been saying this multiple times, they're going to come after all of us like we've never seen before. You thought 1930s, 1940s Germany was bad? Oh, just wait until the Democrats come back. It's going to be full on Gestapo communism from the Democrats. Full on. And they're not even hiding. They're already saying that they're going to arrest law enforcement for doing their jobs.
January 6th committee finding you liable for that day. Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up.
Oh.
I did not refuse the National Guard. The president did. Shut up. Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions.
Oh.
Thank you.
She said, shut up. Shut up. Give her a medal. I love this woman here. I love a strong woman. I really do. I love a strong woman. Good for her. She got it. Got it. Yes. So Nancy Pelosi says she's never denied. She's not the one that did it. Really? Well, let me show you something that for any trolls that are on here. Trolls, you know what? I'll take that back. The trolls, you can feed the trolls the truth, and they just don't care. They don't care. Look, what do we have here? I know it's a little bit dark, but it'll brighten up just a little bit here, and you're going to be able to hear it. I want you to pay attention to the person in this video and what they're saying about the National Guard. Oh, see, once you put stuff on the internet, it doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard?
Now, listen to this part here. And of course, you got liberals who go, oh, this is AI. No, this is not AI. This is, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it slow for the liberals. This is not AI. This is actually Nancy Pelosi. This is the video that you don't want to see yourself. It's not the fact that they don't want you to see it. You don't want to see it, being a liberal, because it absolutely shows what Nancy Pelosi said about the National Guard. Oh.
Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient resources.
There's not a question of how they had, but they don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for.
Did you hear this? Who's taking? She says what?
Clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
She says she takes responsibility for not having the National Guard there for preparing for war. So she's saying that she's taking responsibility for it in the video here. So we're supposed to believe that At no point that it wasn't her responsibility being the Speaker of the House. She could have made a phone call to the Sergeant at Arms saying, hey, get him here. She could have done that. And she just sat there and said that she takes responsibility. This one is not AI. Now, of course, they would want you to believe that it is, but it's not. They would like you to believe that this video never even existed, but it does. But it does. So I'm just kind of curious. What is Nancy Pelosi going to do? What is Nancy Pelosi going to do? Is she just going to continue to try to ignore the facts? She can't because they lied. You mean to tell me that the Democrat Party that went to such an extreme to make up a whole Russia hoax, they wouldn't do this too? Right? That's what we're supposed to believe, that they wouldn't do this. And the same Fedsurrection, the same FBI that was involved on that day was the same FBI that was controlling the Epstein files. Hello? The same FBI that raided President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home not once but twice is the same FBI that had control over the Epstein files. Can you put two and two together? But now all of a sudden, because Joe Biden's FBI that did all of this corruption against President Trump, did all this stuff against President Trump, all of a sudden, the FBI is holding back the information. The Republicans holding back the Epstein files. I mean, really? Really? But they, when you bring up the common sense stuff to these liberals, it just goes all out the window. I mean, it really does. It just goes out the window. Out the window. Oh my goodness. So, this weekend, Saturday, is October the 18th. This Saturday. And October the 18th, this Saturday, they're having their anti-American, hate America rally, and they're calling it No Kings. And Democrats are slow because for some reason, they seem to believe that we have a king in America, but we have a president. So they're so slow. They're still stuck in time, thinking that we still have kings. I mean, why else are they out there protesting for no kings? Right? We don't have a king in the White House. We have a president in the White House. But see, ultimately, what it comes down to, that the Democrats, and I mentioned this yesterday, they don't want Jesus to be king. The Democrats is the party of Satan. And that's what it's really about. It's really not the fact that they know President Trump is president. They know after these 4 years, President Trump is going to retire from being president. You can tell President Trump, I can hear it. He's starting to sound he's really sounding like a grandpa. I mean, really more and more every day, he's starting to sound like a grandpa, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. President Trump is sounding like a grandpa with a sound mind, who can still hold a conversation, who can still read the teleprompter, who can still take questions, who can still do his job. You understand? See, he sound like a grandpa. We can't ignore that, right? But anyways, they know that he's president, but they're saying no kings because it is truly a spiritual thing. They're saying no kings because they're saying no to Jesus. No Jesus, because Jesus is king. Jesus is king. So I'm going this Saturday, and I plan on being live this Saturday. So make sure. I think more likely I'll go live on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure just yet, but if you're not on my YouTube channel, go ahead and go over to my YouTube channel. So I was going live to all of them, but the app that I was using to allow me to do that, they no longer give that capability for me to do that. So it becomes a little difficult. Now I know Rumble has a Rumble app for me to do it. So let me do this. I'll try to see if I can get the Rumble app to work for me. I'll do some testing and see if I get that to work. But the app I used to use was beautiful. Worked like a champ. No longer works. So I would try to see if I can get the Rumble app to work till I can go to multiple locations at the same place. Which is kind of interesting that Rumble they say, hey, you can go to multiple locations right here through Rumble, which is interesting. But nonetheless, I will be out there this weekend. Make sure you tune in. And if you want to help me, you want to support me, by all means, please go to my website. Go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. I need your support. There's a couple people going with me this time. And I actually talked to this biker group, motorcycle biker group. And they haven't necessarily confirmed that they're going to be there with me. But I've been told that a couple people are going to show up and go with me. Even if they don't show up, I've gone into the belly of the beast by myself because I go in and I step out on faith and I want to just have conversation with these people. So even if they don't go with me, I'm still going by myself. I just need your support. I need your support. If you could support me, go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. You can see right there. You can see it right there. If you want to support me, you can sign up for my free newsletter. And there's like a silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. If you want to do any of those, a few people, they help me out that way. A few people do help me out that way, which I'm very appreciative of. But if you want to get one of these beautiful shirts that I've been wearing, I had it on yesterday. I'm washing it so I can have it for Saturday. Is this beautiful shirt right here. Jesus is King. UniteAmericaFirst.com, UniteAmericaFirst.com. Go there, pick one up. And the fine print down at the bottom of it, it says, and Trump is our president. See, Jesus is king and Trump is our president. So I plan on wearing this shirt. I'm thinking about maybe I should have ordered 2 of them so I can have one on, because there's going to be 2 events apparently. One is going to be close to me where I live. And then there's going to be one at the state capitol, which is after the one that I'm doing here. So I plan on going to both of them. So I'm going to be live. I might just go live to both of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, if you want to see the reaction from Will Johnson's point of view, by all means, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And on YouTube, just to let you know, for some reason, they're still removing people from my YouTube channel. I don't know why they're doing it, but they're still removing people from my YouTube channel. I guess because the censorship is still taking place. I don't know. I've asked them about it and they act like they don't know. I've asked YouTube support about it. I don't know. Yeah, of course you don't. And then people have sent me messages saying, Will, why did you remove me from your YouTube channel? And I don't have access to do that. Just like I don't have access to remove people from my Rumble channel or even peel.net or even on X. Well, actually you can on X, right? You can block people. And I haven't seen that option on YouTube. I think you can mute people from talking, but you can't block them. Same thing on Rumble. But anyways, everybody, 1 hour from now, I'm going to be doing a 2-hour show, and President Trump will be doing doing a report. I will have that live. But that will be on my show on Culture Wars. And if anyone is interested on seeing any of that, my show on Culture Wars, you can come back to the main page right here on my website and click on Culture Wars right there, 2 p.m. East Coast time, 2 p.m. Eastern, if you want to see it. And also one more thing before I get out of here. Help me reach President Trump over the big tech tyranny. Please help me reach President Trump. You can see it right there. Click on that PDF. You click on that PDF and you can download the letter that I wrote to President Trump. And you can see it right there. Right there. I wrote this letter to President Trump. And the beginning part right here is, if you decide to help me out, if you do anything, help me do this. Your letter might be the one that reaches President Trump's desk. Help me do this. Print it out, sign it, put it in the mailbox, send it to President Trump. I'm asking you, if you don't do anything, do this. I would greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody, that's it for me. I will see you in just over 1 hour on my other show, Culture Wars. God bless everybody. Stay safe out there. See you on the flip side.